I recently put out a video about shoulder pain when sleeping on your side, and I shared several strength exercises that should help stabilize and make your shoulder feel a whole lot more comfortable. But some people also need stretches to get their shoulders to feel good when sleeping on their side. So in this video, I'm going to share 3, maybe 4 stretches that are going to help you get rid of shoulder pain when sleeping on your side. And if you don't have shoulder pain sleeping on your side, these stretches are still really useful for freeing up range of motion and getting your shoulders to feel really good in your daily life. So if you're ready and you like the idea of having strong, flexible shoulders, then let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. And before I forget, let me know what brought you to this video. Are you having shoulder pain while sleeping on your side, or is it some other kind of problem? Drop me a comment down below. And now let's get up to the wall. So first I'm going to show you 3 shoulder stretches that you can do wherever you are with no equipment. You can just do this next to a wall for the first 2 stretches, and in the 3rd stretch you don't really even need the wall. It can just be your willing but optional partner. And after we go through these no equipment versions, I'm going to show you some versions you can do at the gym, including a 4th stretch that I think is pretty darn useful. So first we're going to do a wall stretch for your chest and the front of your shoulder. And let me give you a quick explanation for why we're stretching the front of the shoulder and the chest. When you are sleeping on your side, if it's a firm surface like this, it's super obvious. If it's a softer surface, it's not as obvious, but it's still happening. Your shoulder is being pushed forward. It's closing off your chest. Even the top shoulder, even though you are not putting pressure on it, is actually curling forward when you're sleeping, just because that's the natural position to sleep in. Your shoulder and chest are not going to be wide open like this and opening up, so the musculature in the front gets short. The shortening of muscles gets worse if you are a gym rat and you're doing bench press and push-ups and anything else that requires a lot of pushing. And if you're slouching in front of a computer all day, all this gets short too. So then when you go and lie down in bed, you're just jamming a shoulder more forward that's already forward, and you start hitting the limit of comfort. So let's fix that. So you're standing next to a wall. You're going to put your palm on the wall. The foot that's closer to the wall, you're just going to have it a little more forward than the other one. Then you're going to be twisting the hips, the ribs, everything away from the wall. And you're going to feel a stretch going across the front of your shoulder and into your chest. Now, some people will tell you that you should not flare your ribs. And the reason they say this is because giving people blanket warnings about never doing any sort of motion sounds really scary, sounds really helpful, sounds really informative and smart, but it also means that you will block off your body's ability to get into different positions that it might actually need in the future. So I'm encouraging you to move with intention. Do not allow your body to lift the rib cage to avoid a stretch. Likewise, don't allow your body to crunch down to avoid a stretch. You want to be very attentive to what your body is attempting to do to avoid stretch sensations, because your body and your brain are very clever at avoiding challenges, just like you are at the office. Do you see how life is like fractals? In any case, you are going to be turning your body away, rotating everything away to open up the front of the chest and shoulders. Explore having your ribs crunched. Explore having them in a neutral position. Explore lifting the rib cage, the front of the rib cage, up towards the ceiling. Also explore where your hand goes. Maybe you want to have it a little bit lower as you twist. Maybe when it's low and you start to lift the front of your rib cage up, it feels really good, or maybe it feels like nothing. Maybe if you do it this way, you'll start to feel a different stretch that feels good. Another thing to try is changing the hand orientation. So we've got our palm on the wall. You could also turn it so the palm is facing the sky. You could also turn it so the palm is facing down. These give you access to different striations, different fibers in your muscles, and you, depending on whatever your activities are, might have different needs than me or somebody else. So feel free to explore. I suggest you find a position, hold that position for 30 to 60 seconds, or longer as you get familiar with this and feel comfortable with this. You're gonna notice different stuff opening up. I have noticed that the more attentive I've been getting with this stretch, that I can get all kinds of stretch through the rib cage as well, because all of that got really tight when I was just doing things like crunching and avoiding rib flare. So again, I'm not talking about wrong, I'm talking about making all kinds of different positions strong, so be willing to experiment. Now let's talk about the second stretch. And we're back at the wall, so you're gonna take one hand and just put it on the wall, roughly head height, maybe shoulder height, whatever feels good for you. Then you're going to slowly start walking away from the wall, but you're keeping the palm on the wall and you're paying attention to what you feel down here. Maybe you're gonna get a little stretch sensation around the armpit, around the triceps, going down the side of the rib cage. You're just maintaining pressure here as you traction and stretch all this stuff around here. After you're done smelling yourself, you're gonna keep trying to get a little deeper into this stretch. Now, there are two different things you could do with your low back. You could try arching it really hard, and that might help you get deeper into the stretch, but it might also cheat you of some stretch in the latissimus dorsus on this side, which is why I suggest you also try lowering your chest to the floor while maintaining a flatter or rounded lower back, and see how that affects your stretch. You want to be able to achieve really good shoulder flexion, meaning getting down low, closer to the floor. This is shoulder flexion up here. You want to be able to achieve that whether your pelvis is in posterior tilt and your low back is flat, or you're in anterior tilt and your low back is arched. Okay, so here's arched, here's rounded. Either one should be achievable while your shoulder is going into flexion. So this is helping us get better function of the shoulder joint. It's helping loosen up the lats. It's helping loosen up the triceps. This also helps loosen up some of the rotator cuff muscles like your supraspinacio and infraravioli. I gotta look this up. Infraravioli? Stracciatella? Anyway, you want to do this stretch on both sides, so make sure you check both sides and see what the function is like. Compare them, and if one side is obviously stiffer, like my left side is crazy stiff right now, then you want to spend extra time on that side, 30 to 60 seconds or more. Totally cool. You can also play around with the hand position on the wall. Maybe you want to get it lower. Maybe that feels like a better orientation. Go for it. Maybe you want to go higher. I don't care. I'm not there with you. It's your wall. It's your body. You need to learn what it needs, so experiment. You can also play around with the orientation of your whole torso relative to the hand. Okay, so if I have my hand on the wall here, I could be like this. I could be like this. I could be like this. I have all these options. I could be a little bit twisted, right? So you can go into it, drop your torso down, and you can also get like little bits of side bend, and that helps open up more stuff. So please feel free to explore and free your shoulders so that you can sleep better. And maybe you'll snore. You might be wondering why you want to stretch your lats in the first place. And the answer is the lats go from your low back all the way up along your ribs to the front of this arm bone, which means that the lats, when they get really shortened and they're just stuck in that shortened position, pull the humerus, pull your arm bone forward and down, which is the position that gets stressed even more when you're sleeping on your side. So opening up your lats, opening up all that stuff in your armpit can be a big help. Good job today. Shut up and cut me my check. So the third stretch is really simple. You're gonna take your arm, you're gonna grab it with the other hand, and you're gonna bring it across the midline like so. When we do this, you wanna make sure your ribs and your spine are not bending to the side or anything to try to cheat you of the stretch. You also want to make sure that you're not crunching down like this in a way that's avoiding the stretch, or flaring up like this in a way that avoids the stretch. You want to feel the stretch around the front of your chest and shoulder, and we also can do this to get the upper trap. So you're going to still hold on to that side, and then you're going to be side bending your head, and you can play around with which direction your head is facing, right? So you can turn and look and see if you can find any tense stuff along the upper traps. So this is a great way to loosen up shoulder tension from all that stuff all day, right? So you're just grabbing a hold, pulling it over, and stretching it out. Now, some of you might be watching and thinking, I can't actually reach that arm because it's so stiff and tight in my shoulder unless I really, really cheat in some way, in which case, I've got you covered. So you can grab a belt, a towel, a yoga strap, or your favorite sex toy, and you can use that to increase the length of your reach. So you're gonna go ahead and grab here and just pull across. It doesn't have to be any kind of fancy massage tool or belt or anything special, just something that you can grab your arm with, or that you could have your arm grab and then pull across. Either way, it still works. Another way you can do this is to use the wall. Like I said, we don't need the wall, but it can be a really helpful tool. So if you can't grab with your massage tool or your yoga strap, you can do the same thing right up against the wall. So all you do is stand next to the wall, put your hand on the wall, and then start leaning in or scooching in while still maintaining attention to what your spine and your ribs are doing and making sure that you're intentionally controlling what they do so that you can aim the stretch. You can keep doing this as you side bend your head and neck to try to get a little more upper trap stretch or even middle delt stretch, whatever you want. You can play around with your angles, maybe take a step forward, maybe lean a little bit, whatever you want to do, it's cool. And the wall is here to help you. Again, holding it for 30 to 60 seconds or more as you get more confident with it and as you get better at feeling and sensing what's going on with your body. And if you feel like one side is really stiff and tighter than the other, then please spend more time on that side so that it has a chance to catch up to your better side. All right, now let's go into my garage gym and we'll talk about some other options for these stretches as well as a fourth thing that can be really helpful. You might have noticed that this video has no ads running through the middle and there are no promotional sponsors that I am trying to flog so that you buy some clothes or supplements that you don't need. So if you want to support this channel, please consider hitting the like button and check out my do-it-yourself programs to help yourself rebuild your shoulders at home. Check out the Shoulder Fix program or any of my DIY programs. They will be linked down below and you can find them also on my website at uprighthealth.com/DIY. Go check out a program that'll help you rebuild your body at home. When you buy one of my online programs, you help yourself, you help me, and that helps me help you. So go check them out, uprighthealth.com/DIY when you're done with this video. And now let's keep going. At the gym, you can use weights to create similar stretches. So if I want to do a chest stretch, I can just take a light dumbbell or a weight plate and just let it drag my arm down when I'm lying on a bench. And I just want to make sure that my body stays as still as possible. I'm not being dragged over to the side unintentionally. And I'm letting the weight take my arm down so the chest muscles and the front of the shoulder gets a good stretch. If I want to accentuate the stretch, I can actually roll away, ooh yeah, to create more and more transverse abduction, meaning my arm and my chest are getting pulled apart. Okay, so I'm turning this way, arm's going back. I'm also making sure that the shoulder blade is continuing to go that way. So when I'm rolling over to the side, I'm not allowing my shoulder blade to like hike and roll away. I'm not doing this, right? I'm not going to try to get out of the stretch. I'm keeping it open as I roll away like this. I can also get a lat stretch if I want to, using similar technique, either the weight plate or grab a dumbbell or a kettlebell and allow it to pull down. So I'm doing this with two arms right now, but if you want to do this one at a time, right, same idea, so that you can really focus in on specific angles that one side really needs. So I know with the one arm version, I can find like areas in my ribs that need some work. But if I do it with two arms, my hands and my arms are locked in the same plane here to be symmetrical, right? So then I don't have as much variation that I can introduce to the arms. So you can do this anyway though. It can feel safer with two hands because with two hands, if you hit a point that doesn't feel like you can control it with one of the arms, the other one can help out a little bit. You can also add some side bends or little twists or turns and just keep working until you find you can get nice and low. You get a good solid stretch. Your rib cage and your spine are not being dragged into the motion unintentionally, that you have the ability to articulate and do different things with your ribs and your pelvis without anything going crazy, wonky, or feeling awful. And just explore again, just as we talked about. And if you want to stretch out in the same way we did with the third stretch to get the upper traps, to get the front of your chest and front of your shoulder, you can hold on to a weight and let it drag you like this, right? So it's really similar to the setup we had before, except now you can load it. So now it's a nice predictable amount of tension that those muscles have to work against. And over time, you're gonna find that they loosen up. And if you want more of that upper trap stretch, then you can go to the edge, allow the head to drop down as the hand is also being pulled down. And you're gonna feel some nice tension there. You can play around with head position and all that good stuff. And finally, that fourth stretch I was talking about is getting some hang time. So using a pull-up bar and starting off with assistance. Please, unless you want to hurt yourself, you want to get your shoulders, hands, and arms used to actually hanging. And over time, as you get more used to this, you want to hang for longer and longer periods, and then with less and less help. But work up to it. So start off with like 10, 20, 30-second holds with assistance. And then over time, as you feel like the strength is coming up and you feel like it's no longer like horrible torture to be in this position, you can use less help. Maybe just use a tapping foot. Maybe just hang free with no help for like 5 seconds, and then use some help, and then take it away 5 seconds, and then some help, until you can actually hang without any help for about a minute. And if you can do 2 minutes, even more awesome. If you can do 5 minutes, well, that's super awesome. But I don't know if you really need to do that unless you're a gymnast or you are competing in American Ninja Warrior. The point here is that you want these muscles all around your armpit to learn how to be long and strong. You want your wrists and forearms, of course, to be strong as well, so you can do other fun stuff. But here with the shoulders, it's going to help open things up, get blood flowing. It's going to help you be more comfortable when you sleep. Now, for some people, it might be a really good idea to actually do active hangs rather than just passive hangs. So an active hang is basically not just hanging slack here, but pulling with the shoulder muscles, your lower traps, to engage and get you up closer to the bar. So from the back view, you can see when I'm in a passive hang, my shoulder blades are going up towards my ears, up towards the sky. When I do an active hang, my shoulder blades are pulling down towards my butt. My head and my chest, my ribs are all going up towards the ceiling. So holding an active hang position can really help strengthen these muscles down here, which are going to stabilize your shoulder blades, pull them back into position, and then get you feeling a lot more stable when you go into that sleeping position, which is why I talked about activating some of these muscles in my other video on shoulder pain when side sleeping. In that video, I talked about strengthening exercises instead of stretches, so I'm just gonna stop here with the strengthening work, and you can just go watch that video. It'll be linked in the description box down below. So let me know how the exercises in this video help you with your shoulder pain. Are the stretches good for you, or do you prefer the strength exercises that are in the other video that I'll have linked down below? Drop me a comment and share your experience, and let me know if you have any questions that I didn't answer already in this video. If you do find this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That also really helps, because it tells YouTube that I'm producing somewhat useful content that other people will want to watch. So please just do it. It's free, it costs you nothing, and it really helps. Please, I'm begging, I'm literally begging here. Go to uprighthealth.com/shoulders to rebuild your shoulders at home. There's also going to be a link down below. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.